And now, Governor Robert McNair of South Carolina giving the award to Fred Lorenzen for having won the pole position in this race. Here are the cars sitting in their starting positions on the starting line. The top qualifier was Fred Lorenzen, who won this race last year, and right alongside him is going to be Marvin Pant. Lorenzen, of course, is the big money winner of NASCAR stock car racing. He won more than $113,000 on this circuit last year. All the other ones are here. Junior Johnson, the chicken farmer from Ronda, North Carolina, and Bobby Johns, Ned Jarrett, who currently leads the NASCAR point standings, and all of the other top drivers of this national stock car circuit. They're going to be racing over a track 1 3/8 miles in circumference, 231 laps. That is exactly 300 miles all told. The weather conditions, hot, very hot and humid, temperature about 85 degrees, and that's going to take a toll of the cars. Now, making his first appearance on the stock car circuit is going to be our old buddy, Robert Rieger. You've never been to one of these races before.
No, Jim, I'm glad you mentioned it. I feel a little embarrassed. 20 million people love this sport, and this is the first time I've ever seen a stock car race. And
what do you think of what you've seen so far?
It's very exciting. It's a great atmosphere here. I've been in the infield looking at the people, watching the drivers, looking at the cars very carefully, listening to you interview the drivers, and I look for a great afternoon.
Well, now I spoke of circumference, and that was not entirely accurate, because this is nothing resembling a circle or even an ellipse. It's a strangely shaped track.
Right, Jim, especially the banking of the turns, which is so important in this race today.
The oval measures 1 3/8 miles. When the pace car sends the drivers on their way in a few moments, their cars will make 219 laps in this famous Rebel 300-mile race. Race-wise, this track is more than an oval. The parabolic curve really makes it a true test for the driver. It's hard to say which of these turns are more difficult. To show you precisely how these turns look to the driver, a few hours ago I took the pace car around the track and shot these photographs through the windshield. Here's what the driver in today's race will see as he speeds along at an average of 135 miles an hour. Coming down the straightaway in front of the grandstand, his speed will be better than 165 miles an hour as he approaches the first turn. Then he enters the turn, and here, Jim, you can relate the vertical pull beyond the track with the sharp diagonal the front hood of the car makes on the turn. See how sharp the degree of bank really is. The driver's average of about 110 miles an hour on the turn, which is quite phenomenal. They can only do this because of the severe way the track is banked. Here is a view out of the second turn and into the back chute. There's a low concrete wall on the outside of each straightaway, and here, just before they enter the third turn, they come very close to this wall with their right front tire, which is the key tire in racing, as it gets more wear and more strain and is more susceptible to blowout. For any blowouts today, it'll probably be the right front. This third and fourth turn is nationally famous because the safest place to run this turn is as high as you can get. A driver keeps the guardrail of the track right against his quarter panel. It's the fastest course, and the mark the guardrail scrapes along the right side of the car is known as the Darlington stripe. Here we see the driver as he comes out of the third turn down the straightaway again. One final point, and that's the white stripe on the roadway. The white stripe is painted on the track from the beginning to the end of each turn, and the drivers drive by the white line. Each driver sets his drift pattern for the whole turn as he picks up the white line. If he ever had to watch the silver guardrail to judge his distance and pick up all the sunlight as he goes whizzing by, he'd go crazy. This area from the white line to the outside rail is called the groove and is covered with a black asphalt. Every driver plays the line slightly differently depending on his car, and it'll be interesting today to watch in this race to see how each driver takes the first turn, which is the most critical.
All right, Bob, well, thanks very much. And now 32 cars sit in their positions just about ready for the beginning of the pace lap. There are the drivers going to their machines. Lorenzen, remember, qualified with a speed of 138 miles an hour and more. Right alongside him is going to be Marvin Pant. He was the second fastest qualifier. They are spread out in the field behind them according to their other qualifying speeds. Pant hooking on that shoulder harness, one of the great protective devices that has come into stock car racing in the last few years. There's Junior Johnson, who was the third fastest qualifier, and Dick Hutcherson, the rookie from Keokuk, Iowa, who qualified in the fourth position. All four of those top qualifiers are Fords. The fastest qualifying car of another make was a Mercury, driven by Darrell Dieringer in sixth position. Cars are going to begin moving now. They'll be on the pace lap, and if everything is okay at the end of that pace lap, they'll be given the flag, not the green flag here in Darlington, but naturally the flag of the Confederacy. That means, okay, go, the race has started. This Rebel 300 in the pace car. leading the field around the track. Beautiful sky, perfectly clear, but oh, how hot, and what a toll of cars that could take before this afternoon is out. Lorenzen's qualifying speed here of more than 138 miles an hour is a record. So with reasonable luck, we should have a record for the race itself. There's the flag. It's going to be okay, a good start. Into that first turn is Lorenzen. On the inside, fender to fender, almost touching with Marvin Panch. Panch on the high side, dropping back just a little bit, and Junior Johnson moving into third position. Watch Junior, he loves to go for the lead, and he is moving even with Marvin Panch right now. Junior now moving into second position, and it looks like he's going after Fred Lorenzen. There's Lorenzen, the favorite, the defending champion, twice a winner of this event. Junior Johnson in second position right now, has never won here at Darlington, and he'd sure like to. He's from Rondon, North Carolina, not too far away. Big burly Junior Johnson, the chicken farmer. Fred Lorenzen, one of the few Yankees in the field, and there goes Junior, he's got the lead. Junior Johnson on the first turn of the second lap has taken the lead from Fred Lorenzen. Lorenzen in car number 28 dropping back into second position. Marvin Panch is third, Ned Jarrett is fourth. Hutcherson, the rookie, is fifth. And in sixth position now is Darrell Dieringer. We'll be back in just a minute with more of the Rebel 300. We're still in the early laps here at the Darlington International Raceway at the Rebel 300, and here is the way they stand. Junior Johnson right there at car number 26 is still the leader. In second position is the pre-race favorite and the defending champion, car number 28, that's Fred Lorenzen. Marvin Panch, who qualified in second position in car number 21, is third, and in fourth position, he's moved up one spot in these early laps, is car number 11, Ned Jarrett. That's the way they stand on this track, which, by the way, is a completely new surface. It has been completely re-asphalted this year and could have an effect on the speeds and the kind of a race that we'll be seeing today. Headed into turn number 1 now. Remember, the qualifying speed here of Fred Lorenzen was over 138 miles an hour, so right now you can be sure they're turning about 135, somewhere in there. A little bit of jockeying in the pack among some of the back markers, as they call them. But there's the caution light, and the yellow flag is out. There's been a crash. It was down on the fourth turn, and it was Wayne Smith. But here now is Earl Balmer in car number 15. His right front has been smashed. He hit the wall trying to avoid the spin of Wayne Smith. That's why that caution light is out. While that caution light is out, I asked Fred Lorenzen before the race began what he thinks of this new surface they're using this year.
Well, the track is very smooth. I think it's going to wear the tires a little bit more because our speeds are up and the asphalt still isn't cured, but it's just as smooth as driving down an expressway.
Somebody said that torrential rainstorm we had yesterday might have washed off all the rubber that had been laid on the track during practice. That going to affect the race?
It will a little bit. The speeds are going to be fast, though. There's about 3 or 4 of us who want to lead it almost all the time, I guess, when it first starts, so I might lay back just a little bit, but just a couple car lengths at the most. I'm looking right now for about 55 laps on tires, which is about 80 to 85 miles.
Why do you particularly want to get out in front and stay there on this track compared to other tracks?
Well, I don't know. This is sort of just a sprint race. It's only 300 miles, and it doesn't hurt you that much to fall back here or get out front more now. As I said before, today I'm going to fall back just a little bit because the lead car uses more rubber. He sort of pushes his front end, and the rear car holds his back end in and makes him use more rubber. So I'd run second or third for the first 100 and then go when there's more rubber in the racetrack.
Well, that was Fred Lorenzen's pre-race strategy. However, right now, he is not following that exactly. He's not lying second or third. While the caution flag was out, the yellow flag, he began to drop back. It looks like Fred Lorenzen may actually be having trouble because in second place now, as you see, is Ned Jarrett in car number 11 chasing Junior Johnson. And there is Fred Lorenzen almost being lapped. Fred has dropped way back in the pack, and it looks like the favorite's in trouble. Junior Johnson then is the leader with Ned Jarrett in second position. Marvin Panch is third. There's Lorenzen. There, by the way, is Darrell Dieringer chasing Dick Hutcherson, and there's a spin. It's Larry Frank. This could be a bad one. He's crossways on the track. Look out. That was car number 44, Larry Hess, that crashed into Larry Frank after he spun. Larry had been running about 6th or 7th place. It looks like he's all right. There he is walking away from the car. Had been in pretty good position when he spun coming out of that first turn. Real near thing. And again, of course, the caution flag is out. We're at Darlington, South Carolina, where things always happen. One of the most spectacular stock car race tracks in America. Into the pits now is the leader, Junior Johnson, changing the tires on the right side while the caution flag is out. Hutcherson coming in. They're all pitting now, taking advantage of the caution flag because they will not lose their place while that's out. Junior Johnson and Ned Jarrett just behind him are going to leave the pits simultaneously. There they come. The leader in the second place car back on the track. There's Dick Hutcherson, the rookie from Kia Cup. These pit crews are possibly the fastest in all the world of racing. There goes Darrell Dieringer. He's racing very well. What's left of Larry Frank's car. Larry Frank was the winner of this race just a couple of years ago when the result was changed, when it appeared for 6 or 7 hours that Junior Johnson was the winner. Junior has never won this one, remember, but he's leading it right now. Jarrett right behind him, and then that gap back to Marvin Panch, who's in 3rd place at the moment. And then you have Dieringer and Hutcherson battling it out. Any one of 5 or 6 cars could easily come on to win this race. There's a long way to go. And here is Lorenzen in the pits with the hood up. Always a bad sign. That means this is not a routine pit stop at all. There's something wrong under the hood. But he's going back out again. He'll give it a try now and see how it goes. The crowd stirring as they see the favorite dropping out of contention. That is still the story here, whether or not Fred Lorenzen is going to be able to continue and get back into the race. You see Marvin Panch and Dieringer. Dieringer right now closing in on Ned Jarrett for 2nd position. That's how close a race it is. There's Ned Jarrett. There's Dieringer right behind him. Take him down onto the straightaway. There's the leader. Only about 100 yards ahead of Jarrett and Dieringer and Panch. Fred Lorenzen is in again. This could be it. The 2nd time he's been in on 2 laps. Discouraged-looking driver and a pit crew doing one of the most futile of all gestures, just looking into the engine. Nobody in particular action, just looking, apparently not being able to do anything about it. That's it for Fred Lorenzen. There he is walking away, shaking his head, the picture of anger and frustration. And now by my Accutron, I'm certain I'll be back in exactly 60 seconds. This is Jim McKay in the pits at Darlington, South Carolina with Fred Lorenzen, the favorite whose car has just dropped out of the race. Fred, what happened to the car?
Well, on about the 2nd lap, it started missing. I lost the cylinder, and I thought I'd just wait until the caution came and run as hard as I could, but when the caution came out, I came into the pits. I was a lap down. I thought it was a spark plug wire. They couldn't find anything wrong, so I went back out, and it ran the same way on 7 cylinders, so they flagged me in, pulled all the spark plugs out. By the time we got to the last spark plug, we had lost 4 laps, and it was silly to go back out. The center wire and the spark plug broke off.
Excuse me, Fred, there's more trouble on the racetrack. This Bobby Johns crashing into the wall in the first turn, spinning and regaining control of the car. That is one of the greatest demonstrations of driving skill that you will ever see. Bobby Johns hit that wall hard, spun down into the lower portion of the track, and then you saw him regain control. Now he's accelerating. Apparently his car is all right, and he's back in the race. It cost him valuable seconds, of course, but almost unbelievable that a fella could regain control of that car in a situation like that. The leader, of course, is still Junior Johnson, but watch Darrell Dieringer in car number 16 as he passes a couple of lapped cars and is trailed by Ned Jarrett. Dieringer has moved up into 2nd position in this race and is coming on fast in his 1964 Mercury. Derringer is second, but of course the leader is Junior Johnson, and I talked to him before the race about his strategy.
Junior, whenever we've seen you in stock car racing, you've always gone right for the lead and tried to stay there. Is that your strategy today?
Well, we're going to run hard. I don't know what it'll take to get the lead. If it takes too much, then we won't go after it, but I think we got enough to go get it.
You're sitting in the second row there. Can you try for it right into that first turn?
I probably won't run for it for 4 or 5 laps to let my tires get hot and the engine get it warmed up and everything, and then I'll probably be charging for the lead.
That was Junior Johnson before the race. Here's the speed at the end of 60 laps. About a quarter of the race gone, and Junior Johnson, despite the fact that the caution flag has been out several times and that the laps under the caution flag count on the average speed, is averaging over 108 miles an hour. Real fast going. Junior in that cream-colored Ford in the lead. Just behind him right now is Bobby Johns, who spun and dropped back a lap. He is actually a lap behind. Then after Johns comes the other cars that are chasing Johnson and still very close. Derringer and Jarrett and Marvin Panch. That's the way they stand then. Junior Johnson, the leader, followed by Derringer, Jarrett, and Panch. We'll be returning here, of course, to Darlington, South Carolina for more of this race. Right now, we're going to go to another race of power and speed, the Miami Nassau Powerboat Race. Let's go to Bill Fleming. Thank you very much, Bill. Well, this is Jim McKay back again at Darlington International Raceway in Darlington, South Carolina at the Rebel 300. We're just about at the halfway mark, and the leader is still Junior Johnson in car number 26. But look at the battle that's shaping up for second position at this moment. Those are the second, third, fourth, and fifth place cars you've been looking at. There in second position is Darrell Derringer on the left of your screen. Just behind him is Ned Jarrett in car number 11 with about a 50-yard gap. Then immediately behind him, car number 21 is Marvin Panch. And just out of your picture, moving into it now, is the fifth place car. That is Dick Hutcherson. Junior Johnson has a lead of about 5 seconds over those 4 cars. However, any of those could still catch him. And as for second place right now, well, you just take your pick. There's a crash between the first and second turns. That is Cale Yarborough. Yarborough hitting almost head-on into the fence. The skid marks on the track, but Cale out of the car immediately. Maybe a little stunned, but apparently all right. And as usual, on the caution flag, and this is about the 6th or 7th one we've had today, all of the leaders, all of the cars, in fact, take advantage of the situation to come in and get a pit stop out of the way. This is one of the classic sights of sport, with furious, frantic activity in the pits as all the cars come in at once. Number 29 is the lead car you saw there. That was Hutcherson coming in. And there is Junior Johnson with a very fast pit stop, back on the track again. That's the leader in the race. Never won here before. There's Ned Jarrett, changing the tires on the left side this time. Out again and almost spinning in the pit area. There is Darrell Derringer, who's in second place in the race. And there goes Marvin Panch. And there goes Jarrett just ahead of them. All the leaders back on the track. In just a minute, we're going to talk to Cale Yarborough, who had that crash just a moment ago. We'll be right back. Again, we're in the pits at Darlington, South Carolina, with Cale Yarborough, a lucky man who escaped from a bad crash here just a few minutes ago. Cale, what in the world happened out there?
Jim, I blew a tire going into the second turn down there and hit the guardrails.
Do you think you ran over something, or what happened?
I'm pretty sure I ran over something. I'm not sure, but there was some trash down there where Larry Frank hit the fence earlier, and I'm pretty sure I ran over something and cut my tire.
Cale, this is the first time, of course, that this new track has been used. What do you think of it, General?
I think it's fine, Jim. The track's real fast. It's a lot easier to drive. And this new pavement they had put on it has really made the track a lot safer and a lot better to drive on.
Are there any bad spots out there that the other fellas might have trouble with during the rest of the afternoon?
No, Jim, not really, I don't think. It's mighty hot here, and the temperature is going to keep rising, I think. But there's going to be some more tires to blow, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, Cale, well, we're sure glad that you came out of that with no scratches.
Thank you, Jim.
Well, there you have it from a man who should know, Cale Yarborough, tipping us that perhaps there might be more blowouts, more tire trouble in this race with this hot sun burning down on the track today. Tremendous speeds being generated, and look at Marvin Panch on the track now, chasing the leader, Junior Johnson. And really pouring it on. In second place in the race. Johnson had a lead of about 5 or 6 seconds at one point, if you recall. Right now, it's difficult to tell whether Junior is losing his speed or whether he's just hanging on his bike. There's one of the worst crashes we've seen in a long time. Fire under the roof, it looks like. That is the car. There goes the windshield sliding across the track, looking for the driver to come out right now. That is Bud Strickler's car. And there he is, incredibly walking away, limping slightly from that crash into the steel guardrail on the first turn. It looked like the car might catch fire. There are the leaders pitting again. And there's Darrell Derringer, by the way, taking the lead on that pit stop from Junior Johnson, who is now out on the track. We have a mic down there with Bud Strickler. Let's see from his own lips exactly what happened.
Someone hit me in the back and kept pushing going into the turn. And he hit me. It sort of sent me sideways, and I front corner hit the wall, and that fire was flying up in my face. I unbuckled, and I fell right down on my head.
All right, that was Bud Strickler describing what happened to him. The green flag, and they're racing again. An exhausting afternoon, almost as exhausting for a spectator as for the participants. They seem to have this kind of racing at Darlington. There's something about the track, about the banking, about the difference in the turns that lends itself to extremely spectacular and colorful automobile racing. Feels more like July or August than it does like the very month of May. And there's Darrell Derringer in the lead. Remember, he took the lead on that pit stop from Junior Johnson. Johnson closing in on him, though. Junior becomes like a man possessed as soon as he loses the lead in a race. He wants it back, and right now, and he's going for it. Going for it and getting it on the first turn. Junior Johnson is back in first place. Derringer is second. Blistering hot afternoon. We're in South Carolina. Believe it or not, next month, football will be returning to ABC television. The Coaches All-American game in Buffalo. Watch your local listings for the date and the time on that one. Darrell Derringer in second place has been driving an extremely steady race here this afternoon. Fellow who makes his home in Charlotte, North Carolina. And now look at Marvin Panch. Panch closing in on Derringer and trying to take second place. And remember, neither one of them is that far behind Junior Johnson. There goes Panch. He's got second. Smoke still rising from the track from that crash of Bud Strickler's just a little while ago. Marvin Panch in his red car, number 21. And the Mercury of Darrell Derringer just behind him. Junior Johnson, remember, still the leader. Marvin Panch makes his home in Daytona Beach, Florida. 39 years old, a real veteran. Before the race, I asked Marvin, where's the toughest place on this track to maneuver?
Well, you have two different type turns here, and you have your car set up right for one turn. It makes it harder to control your car in the other turn. So if you handle or set up the handle on the turn you're having your problem with, then it makes the other turn difficult. So you just kind of hit a halfway medium and do the best you can.
So in a sense, this is almost getting halfway towards a road course in that you have to drive each curve differently, huh?
Yes, that's true. You take your first and second turn are similar to the other super speedways like Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah.
And your third and fourth turn is a flatter turn. You run right next to the guardrail. It takes two different types of handling and different type handling and different type driving to operate in the two different turns.
That was Marvin Panch, who right now is in second place and closing in on the leader, Junior Johnson. We'll be coming back here, of course, for more of this Rebel 300 at Darlington, South Carolina. Right now, it's time for a preview of the forthcoming heavyweight championship fight between Sonny Liston and Cassius Clay. Let's go to that. Thank you, Howard. Back here in Darlington, South Carolina, the leader remains the same in the Rebel 300. Junior Johnson, and there you see a signal from his pit, wondering whether or not he has enough gas to go all the way. Junior Johnson is the leader, and here is Dick Hutcherson with a bad break. This is the rookie from Keokuk, Iowa, who's been laying in 4th or 5th place all afternoon, has now hit the wall with his right front tire and fender. Will he be able to continue? Well, the pit crew will give it a look. Now they're bringing out the acetylene torch, so they're going to try to keep him in the race because he still could have a quite respectable finish. Not too much of the race left to go now. Junior Johnson in the lead, and there he is in car number 26. Hutcherson back on the track. And there's Marvin Panch, who's in 2nd place. Just going to point out how close he was getting to Junior Johnson. He has blown his right front tire, has lost the tire, in fact, and there are a tremendous number of sparks coming up from that bare metal wheel scraping along the roadway. And there you see driving skill, a man on 3 rubber tires and 1 bare metal rim at about 100 miles an hour, maintaining perfect control. However, he's not thinking so much about that right now as he is about his shattered chances in the closing laps of the race. Marvin Patch has blown a tire and drops out of contention. Junior Johnson, as the yellow flag goes out again, comes in for that pit stop, for the gas, for the final change of rubber on the right side. In 2nd place right now on the track is Darrell Dieringer, and Dieringer has now passed Junior while Junior's in the pits. We now have a new leader. Darrell Dieringer is the leader, and Junior Johnson again is going to have to go and get him. Little trouble pushing Junior out of the pits there. He couldn't get started on his own. Now he does. Engine catches, and he's back in it, but he is behind Darrell Dieringer. What a finish this could be. Junior has led almost all of the way. There's Panch's car back into the pits. But now he is after Dieringer and after him good on the track. Back to the action. He's got him. Junior Johnson that quickly has retaken the lead from the car just behind him there. Number 16, the car of Darrell Dieringer. Now Dieringer takes out after Junior again. There could be trouble there with car number 11, Ned Jarrett, being lapped. He has moved into that groove, you see, and now has blocked Darrell Dieringer. Not intentionally, but you have to get up into that groove in the 3rd turn, if you remember, in order to negotiate that turn. So Junior has gained on that one, and there's not very far to go. Dieringer now gets by Jarrett, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to make it. Junior Johnson's going to be the winner of the Rebel 300. First time he's ever won a race at Darlington. Between the 3rd and 4th turn, now the final turn of the day. Junior is headed for home, headed for the hen house. Is the chicken farmer from North Carolina. Well, we'll be back at Darlington in just a moment with Junior Johnson in Victory Lane. Junior Johnson has won the Rebel 300 at Darlington, South Carolina, and now he drives his car into Victory Lane. Johnny Reb crawls on the roof of the car. Junior won it with an average speed of more than 111 miles an hour despite 5 yellow caution flags. There he is being congratulated by President Bob Calvin of the track. In 2nd place, this car, the Mercury, driven by Darrell Dieringer. The only car among the top 5 finishers that is not a Ford. 3rd position went to Ned Jarrett here in car number 11. Dieringer, however, was the only car on the same lap with Johnson at the end. 4th place went to Dick Hutcherson, despite the trouble he had with the right front fender near the end of the race. Then it was Bobby Johns, 5th. Junior was a long way around today, but you led it almost every inch of the way. Congratulations.
Thank you a lot.
What was the story of the race to you?
Well, I knew if I didn't have no trouble the way my car was running and handling, I didn't see any way that anyone could outrun me, because the car was just performing beautiful.
Were you holding back any? Did you have more speed if you had needed it?
To start with, I held back a little, and then later on in the race, I run a little harder. I just kept picking up the pace according as the tires lasted and as the race progressed. My arms got a little tired. I thought maybe I might have to call somebody in to relieve me for a little while, but further the race went, the tougher it got, and the tougher I got, and I just toughed it out.
You're always a pretty tough guy, Junior. When you came out of that last pit stop, were you sure whether you were on the same lap with Panch or not?
I didn't have no idea. All I knew, I was going after him as long as I could see it.
Okay, it's a great victory. Congratulations to you, Junior Johnson.
Thank you.
Well, the toughing it out is over for today. Only the picking up remains. Picking up trophies and kisses. And oh yes, a check for more than $10,000 for Junior Johnson. Now let's take a quick look forward to next week's Wide World of Sports.